was a special request from SROUG. They wanted us to do the same thing that we did at OUG in April when we were at Denver. So I don't know how many of you have come to the Denver OUG conference, but this is the same presentation that we had out there. So Naimesh Shah was supposed to be on this presentation, however he couldn't make it. So I said, okay, I'll step in. I'm the founder of this company, iBiz. We started around 13 years back. I'm an ex-Oracle employee with multiple locations where I've worked at Oracle. What we actually focus here on this session is to show you how exactly we can use Endeca on top of an EBS module like iStore, for example. So what Michael was talking to you all about earlier was Endeca Latitude version, which is integrated with EBS out of the box, 12.2. But Endeca in front is the one which is a customer facing. That has not been integrated yet. So we're still working with Oracle on that. We are Oracle Platinum partner, and we've been working with the development team to figure out what's the best way we can deploy this. So we have deployed this at for a few customers, and they like what we have provided to them, the prototyping, the proof of concept. It's all up and running, working, and that's what we're going to see here. So Endeca in front is what we're going to take a look at. What are the different components? What exactly happens when you want to actually deploy a website? So Endeca websites out there are like Home Depot, CDW, I think AutoZone, and there are a lot of sites out there. Granger is a very popular site, Granger.com. So let's go ahead and deep dive and see exactly what we do. iBiz basically focuses on all the implementation of Oracle Business Suite modules. We have clients all over the world, Australia, Norway, Middle East. We have 50 plus implementations in iStore, iSupport, iPayment. We are very big partners of Chase, Bank of America, US Bank for credit card integration from within EBS, Lemni or R12. So we help Chase and other banks to integrate their solution with EBS. We focus primarily on I modules. However, we have started growing our team into ATG and Endeca, because they all fit into the scope of things that we actually handle, which is primarily the e-commerce space. And we offer a lot of flexible consulting solutions where we can blend all kinds of consultants from various areas of the globe and technical functional. We have a blended team, so that's an advantage we bring over. Basically, we are here to show you how exactly Endeca can work on top of EBS with iStore as one of the modules, right? So you can see what Endeca can offer today. It's one of the most leading search engine tool that you can see in the market. It's got a very rich content that it can show to the customer. So basically, you can easily manage your landing page. Your content management becomes very easy. So once the IT has set up a few things for the business can use some Endeca tools to manage the site for the future. So how many of you have actually worked on iStore module here? Which company you're from? Toshiba. Toshiba. Okay. How about you, sir?
Oh, I just do a consultant work for a company in San Francisco.
So you would have seen, what goes into iStore to manage an iStore site. So Endeca sits on top of these kind of modules. So what you can do is use Endeca for your landing pages. However, the cart functionality onwards, you can use iStore, because iStore is very strong with the backend integration. iStore is a little bit behind when it comes to managing the look and feel changes. Business cannot do that very easily. But with Endeca, businesses can jump in and start making changes on their own. So once IT deploys the changes, business can start making those, they can just rearrange the landing page and all that. With iStore, that was one thing that we always found. It was not very easy to deploy the changes, because you need to have an iStore administrator. iStore administrator has to understand what the flow should be. So one has to really train that person. So Endeca offers a lot of flexibility. It has got a lot of good tools, where you can simplify the business process. Many of you know EBS. I'm pretty sure all of you sitting here are EBS experts, right? And what exactly Endeca offers is very fast, efficient, faceted search. Basically, you can have multiple filters. You can you can classify. your search. For example, you are trying to sell books. You can classify the books by authors, by publisher name, by published date. So you can actually let Endeca handle all that for you. So they are basic setups that you do. So filtering that comes part of Endeca out of the box. And you can actually target your customers. Basically, if you have a customer coming in from Australia or coming in from US, you can have different, you can target different products for these two types of customers. And definitely it is a very sleek, rich content that it gives. And what we have done here is to integrate Endeca with EBS. We have made sure that whenever anyone comes and logs in, they are a registered user in EBS. So that's one of the things, that's the reason why we keep showing EBS on the other side, because customer account management, transactional capabilities, pricing, shipping, billing, address, all those things have to come from EBS. Endeca is a standalone database, standalone tool, standalone website that does run on a different server. However, EBS is so strong in its backend activities, we have tried to integrate these two, and we were pretty successful in making sure that they talk to each other. So that's the reason I'm here, to show you exactly how that's going to work. And this is what I just discussed, how exactly we developed this solution, what exactly we try to do here. We have always retained the best of the technologies for both these products, Endeca and EBS. And very fast, efficient. We'll show you exactly how the whole flow works. How pricing shows up, billing address, shipping address, and how we can create an order. Right? How many of you have seen Endeca integrated with ATG? You heard of the product called ATG? It's Oracle just acquired a couple of years back.
Yeah.
So ATG is is on a higher scale for customers like Target, Best Buy, Vodafone, AT&T. They all use ATG as their e-commerce platform. iStore is used by companies like Starbucks, Bic, Life Fitness, McGraw-Hill, and they were all our clients. So we actually developed their e-commerce solution using iStore as the product. Okay. So Endeca is actually divided into a few components or a few modules. Something called Experience Manager is a very good tool. It's a GUI tool. Then we have the index engine, which actually handles the search criteria in the search engine. Then we have the developer studio, where the developers would go ahead and start tweaking the XML, the JSP, and all that. We are going to focus only on the Experience Manager because that's a GUI tool, and we exactly show you how that can be used to improve your landing page, your website, and all that. And stop me whenever you have any questions. We don't have to wait till the end, right? Because it's going to be more of an interactive session. We have, as a landing page for Experience Manager, we see that there are a few components out here that we can click on. There's a few things that Endeca offers. For example, there's auto suggest when you type in for the search. Then there is, basically, if you have a spelling mistake, like on iPhone you have a spelling mistake, it corrects the word and says, okay, did you mean this? So those are like thesaurus of features. So thesaurus is also inbuilt into Endeca, right? Then we have user settings, admin console. We'll not go into those. When you get into Experience Manager, basically, when you look at a website, what do you see on a website? You see the header, you see the footer, then you've got bins on both sides, browse bin, welcome bin, then you've got something in the middle. So if you keep that wireframe in mind, what exactly can be done using Experience Manager is what we're going to see here. So say, just example, for example, if we take a browse bin, from the wireframe, what we see here is it consists of a page. It's just like another page, right? It could be a JSP page, it could be a PHP page, it could be any technology, right? Endeca actually is using JSP Java for all its technology. So what you're going to see is you're going to see a collection. Basically, we call it a collection. So basically, browse bin could be a collection. Welcome bin could be a collection. Collection of what? Collection of content. And the content could be driven out of templates. Templates is driven out of cartridges. So these are all terms that Endeca uses. Ultimately, they all actually map to its own technology. For example, template could be a JSP, cartridge is XML. So basically collection is a combination of JSP and XML. So that's how we render the page. So you can have a collection for browse bin, collection for welcome bin, or the middle portion. You can have footer, header using collection as your is it moving around?
Yeah.
I don't know how to change the. Okay. Yeah, it should not move now. So what we are doing here is now to go ahead and add a folder for collection, right? Let me know if it is going too fast. So we're going to add a collection under a new folder, and that collection is basically going to be type page, right? And what I'm showing you here is basically the GUI front end of Experience Manager, how exactly we can deploy a website. So once we have a page, collection has been created. We go ahead and create a page inside that collection. So collection will have multiple pages. You can have multiple pages. So here we are creating a page called landing page, right? And landing page can comprise of templates. Templates can comprise of cartridges, which is again, as I said, is XML based. Okay. And we can select the template. So I'm just showing you how exactly this is done out of the box. So once you select the template associated with the landing page, click on OK and go ahead and say, your landing page is created, right? Now, in these slides, you're going to see how various things we can start managing. Basically, we can add a banner on the left panel and then go ahead and add a media URL to it. So what you've seen here is basically the use of Endeca Experience Manager. So all this actually can be done from your desktop. And you can associate your image to that banner, and you can show it on a certain side of your website. So if you have designed your wireframe, you can say, okay, where exactly it needs to show up, right? And we go ahead and create a browse URL for that particular media object that we just added. And after assigning, you can click on Save Changes, and we can go ahead and deploy this change. So that's what we're showing here. So we can promote this change. So once you promote the change, you're going to see the site, and you can see it immediately. So I can go here, and I can see how that landing page looks like.
Okay.
So it's a simple HTTP protocol. I can go to the URL, and see how that particular page looks like. So this is how easy it is to manage using Experience Manager. Okay. I'm adding something called a search refinement, so I can actually add a search box, because that's where the power of Endeca is, right? So I can add a search criteria. It's a guided navigation search. So I go ahead and create a menu for that. And under the search, you can have various search criteria. For example, I can have, go ahead.
I'm missing the overall concept of what you're trying to do. I thought Endeca came out of the box with most of what you
No, that's what I said in the beginning of this meeting. Endeca comes out of the box for Endeca Latitude, which is the back-end side of things. On R12.2, Endeca is already boxed into EBS. It's totally integrated. What I'm talking to you here is Endeca Infront. Endeca Infront is not integrated yet. Endeca Infront is mainly for the user-facing, website-driven kind of solution.
Yeah, right.
That's not integrated with EBS at all. So what Michael mentioned earlier was the Endeca Latitude piece, which is pretty cool because you get a lot of information, charts, pie charts, bar charts, and all that. But we are not talking about that here. So this piece is not integrated yet. This is where we came in and we said, okay, let us go ahead and integrate, because there are a lot of customers who have iStore, but people who have worked on iStore will realize their search mechanism is really horrible, because their URLs are not very user-friendly, because I've been doing iStore for 30 years, so I know inside out of what iStore is. So this was like a blessing in disguise for us, because we can go ahead and integrate this.
So use this as a landing page.
Correct.
I see.
Yes, Endeca can be used as a landing page. It can be used for improving a search. And moment the customer clicks on add to cart, EBS
Go back
EBS
to
kicks
the
in.
iStore.
iStore kicks in. Basically, it's EBS in the backend.
I see.
This helps the customer search for a product that they want to go buy or what?
Yes, yes.
Are you the only vendor that try to?
Yes, I would say yes. I don't know how many others have done it, but yes, we definitely are in the forefront because we took the lead on this. So we have set up our own server. We went ahead and got ATG set up. We got Endeca set up so that we know what we are actually or what we need to deliver to the customer in the e-commerce space. So we did take the lead on this. I'm not sure if anybody else has taken any lead, but we are in touch with the Oracle team, and they haven't told us anything about this yet. If somebody else is there. Right. So dimensions are basically when you go and search for an item, you got all this, brands, rating, pricing. So you can categorize it. So dimension is basically all about these few attributes of a product, right? So you can brand your product, you can say this is the price of the product, you can rate it. So basically that's what we're talking about here, on how to set up a dimension. So under the search, we go ahead and say, we go ahead and give a dimension, navigation, call it brand. And we add similar dimensions. So what you can see here is we have added a dimension called brand category, price range, ratings. That's what, I don't think it's very clear, but you get an idea about this. Right? If you want the URL for this, I can email this to you. If you can leave me your card behind, I can go ahead and mail this URL. Right? And you can go ahead and activate this link, save the changes, and boom, it goes into your browse page. So basically your default browse page, you can go ahead and select the template, and you can say this is the template. Go ahead and add the content to the search box. I'm just giving you an overview, so I'm going to skip a lot of things here because this is all very technical. But once you go through the Endeca Experience Manager, you'll realize how easy it is to make all these changes, right? So the reason why I'm rushing through this is I really want to show you how exactly it's going to work behind the scene. So you can promote the changes, and you're going to see the search box out here. This is where you see the search, right? Now let's go and take a look at how this whole thing pans out in the end. So whatever we did with the dimension is what you see here on the left side. So branding, basically categorizing, price range, ratings, all this starts showing up. So when customer starts searching for it, they can go ahead and start drilling down. And that's how search has improved tremendously. With just few clicks, you're able to make these changes, right? Now, this is where our actual integration with EBS starts. So when a customer comes to this landing page, they see there is a login button there, there's a registration button there, so they go ahead and log in, right? And once you log in, what we have done here is we have integrated this whole thing with EBS in the backend. So we have used very standard APIs that go with EBS, and we have integrated the Endeca call for this login page using the EBS APIs, right? And once you get into the site, on the top bar, you see your My Account, your My Cart, My Orders. So you're logged in successfully. You can start browsing your orders. And all these orders, the My Account details, they all come from the EBS in the backend. Okay? And once again, this is not a canned solution, this is a custom solution that we have built to show how exactly we can do this. Right? Down the line, I don't know when that's going to happen, but it might become part of maybe 12.3 or 12.3, 12.4, no idea. So you can go ahead and start looking at your existing orders, your current cart, your profile, and all that. Right? And you can also navigate to various sections within that landing page, and you can start drilling down by clicking on links on the side. And you can refine the search. And if you notice on this side, you notice, I can change the view between a list and a grid view. So this is a list view. I can have a grid view where items start showing up, in columns, multiple columns. Okay. And I can drill down within that category. I can go further, keep going, drilling down further. You notice the left side, the bin keeps reducing because I'm drilling down. So for this particular brand, for that category, or for that price range, these are the only items I see. Okay? And these items are actually coming from EBS as well. So what we have done here is, Endeca, although has its own database, we have made sure that the items, the price, all the information that you see here come from EBS. So you don't have to really maintain two databases. So there's a way to export the information from EBS, import it back into Endeca, and then it starts showing up on the Endeca's landing page.
So I have a question. So if customer picks some item from here, which is from Endeca, and then if the right go back to Oracle?
Yes, the reason why we did that is because this item has to have the same item ID that you have in EBS. If you try to place an order, it will not go through, because it's going to have a different item ID. So we have to make sure that these two databases are in sync. Yeah.
So where does iStore fit in? So
Yeah, so we have to bridge iStore yet. So it's still Endeca. Yes.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And then you're communicating to EBS to get
Correct.
product information.
Correct. Yes. Yes. So we are going to come to iStore now. When I go ahead and say, so basically I'm just going through and showing you how exactly it can be sorted by ratings and by price and name and all that. And I can change my list to grid view to show how exactly that would look, right? When I click on those two icons. Then I go ahead and show you how exactly I can search by keyword like skin, then it starts showing up. Now this is where the card page shows up, and this is where EBS starts. This is where iStore starts. Card page is basically iStore, and iStore sits on top of EBS. Right?
Look and feel is kind of customized.
Yeah, it has to be. There is no iStore out of the box today.
Yeah, behind the scenes, this what we're seeing right now is iStore.
Yes. Yes.
But why do you need two databases? One for the Endeca, one for the EBS?
Because Endeca comes with its own database. There is no way we can stop that from happening. Because the search engine is based on that database.
Yeah.
I cannot have a search engine based out of EBS. Search engine is part of
And
index engine.
Endeca is more like a database itself.
Yes, Endeca has its own database. Yeah.
And Oracle gonna maintain that, and if they any patch, anything?
For Endeca?
Upgrade, yeah, for Endeca.
Endeca patch, I don't see any patches coming on as. I mean, we've been working on it for almost a year now. I haven't seen any Endeca infront patches yet. We haven't seen that yet. So
Is
we
this
hit upon one bug, but that was it. Yeah.
Is it Endeca is work with iStore only? Or is there?
No.
This Endeca infront, yes. Actually, if you ask me, we have integrated Endeca infront with Magento, Endeca infront with a PHP site, Endeca infront with iStore. So technology agnostic. You can integrate Endeca with anything, with any other technology platform that's out there. As long as you know what APIs to be called, Endeca infront can be integrated.
Endeca is a real-time search system.
Correct. It's a
Very
real-time
good.
search.
database.
If you go to Home Depot and CDW, you'll see how the search works out there. They're all Endeca sites. Granger is a pretty good site.
So how do you synchronize the data with?
So we have this, we have shell scripts that we have written where we can move the data, we FTP the files, and then we dump it. Yeah. Okay. So we can update the card, remove the item from the card, update the quantity. So these are all very simple EBS functionality or iStore functionality. This is a shipping page. If you've noticed, this is a very iStore-like shipping page. It's got all minimal information. Typically, when we customized for companies like Starbucks, Bic, and all those guys, this is not how their shipping page looked like. It was much more complex. So what we try to show here is just the basic out-of-the-box functionality. Information is all coming from EBS. Okay. So that's what I mentioned here. So we have shipping methods that is also coming from EBS. Right. Billing information is just like this. So we have credit card functionality where we can integrate with any payment processor. There's more explanation on what we do with the billing page. Right. We can review and place order. So review page also, it shows you the shipping, billing, and other details, the cart related details, right? And we can confirm the order. Order goes into order management, and you can see that from EBS.
What is technology behind, like Oracle database, we can do a lot of PLC for all those things. So for here, for Endeca, you want to expand it, so program?
Yeah, so basically we use web services. So you can use web services to make these calls. Yeah. So order confirmation page shows up and it generates the order in EBS. Right? So what I'm going to do in the next few minutes is what I'm going to show you is the actual sites that we have developed. I also wanted to touch base upon how we actually plan on doing this into Fusion. So how exactly? So this is Michael's presentation on how Endeca and information discovery was exactly integrated with EBS. So this is what he did. You see? So this is not what I showed you earlier. This is basically Endeca Latitude. Okay. So what you see here is basically different modules can go ahead and, integrate. So basically you can have Endeca Latitude show up in order management, inventory, pricing, and all that. So now let's see what happens when we actually do this demo for a company in Connecticut. Now this is their landing page using Endeca, right? If you notice, we have this brand new equipment category and all that. And what they did for us was they gave us the whole file. The whole file was given to us in a CSV format. We uploaded that into Endeca, and we started showing all these items. And this is an Endeca page. And what you see on the side is what we just discussed on how we can do the dimensioning. So we have dimensions, new equipment category, right? And we integrated this with iStore. The one good feature that we added for this particular demo was the configurable items. So basically they wanted us to allow them to search for a part which could belong to a configurable item, a configurable model. So when I search for a part, it could be like 5 levels down in a model. So they wanted us to let them search by that part and display that model where this part belongs to. So that was something very unique that we did for them. Right? So we might be touching that functionality here. So basically all this, whatever you see here about display, sort by, all these are out of the box functionality of Endeca. So when a business user wants to change something on their site, they just have to use Experience Manager to go ahead and change it. Okay? We can change the banners very easily. You can drill down, for parts catalog, you can drill down further. So we have a parts catalog that we built for them that again came from Endeca. So you can see how I can show you the breadcrumbs within Endeca. So you see the breadcrumbs and I keep drilling down. I see the breadcrumb here, right? And I can configure a model and I can show you the parts list for that model. So when I go ahead and configure, you will see the out of the box. So basically login again is integrated with EBS. I'm about to configure a model now. How many of you have worked on the configurator here? How many of you? Has anyone seen how configurator works here? So basically you can configure a model to get to the end product. So basically a model has got multiple options, and that's what I'm showing here. So if I want to build a loader, what is my engine transmission and what is my other optional add-ons that I can give, my blade size, my basically accessories that go with the loader. So I can select from there and I can say, add to cart, and it goes and builds that model for me, right? and it gets added to the cart. So that's what you see here. So this again is basically iStore shopping cart. And rest of the things are flows through shipping, billing. Okay. So I can share these URLs with you all if you're interested. I can email this and show you how exactly Experience Manager can be used to make changes to a website. And again, this is not just for iStore. This can be used for any technology. You can use it for Measure Tool, you can use it for any PHP-based web pages. And we have done that, so I can show you that as well. And return details. So basically all these are out-of-the-box features of iStore, where I can return an item using iStore. I can do a direct item entry.
Does the data have to be arranged in a certain way to use Endeca?
I would say yes and no. Typically we ask for a structured data, which helps us. Otherwise we'll have to clean up the data a little bit to make it look like this. So that's a good question, yes. So at times we may have to take a look at the way the data is organized. Okay, so I'm just going through the various iStore pages out here.
In the sync, is that real time? Say you save a data in Endeca, and does it sync automatically? That's my order. It takes time to sync.
No, it's immediate. It's real time.
So the pages, are they based on the EBS table or based on the tables that you cite in Endeca?
So whatever Endeca landing page shows, they're all based out of Endeca tables, because we imported the data from EBS into Endeca, right? Price, availability, and all that comes from EBS. So those things stay in Endeca. So that sync can happen maybe once in a day, or twice in a day, depending on how up to date the website has to be, right? Yeah.
What have you used for the integration of EBS to Endeca?
I'm sorry, what?
For the data synchronization.
Yeah, basically you're talking about EBS to Endeca synchronization. We can use shell scripts. You can just move the file and upload it into the Endeca tables. Yeah. Because they are sitting on two different servers. Right?
So I think it's using standard database.
Yeah, it's using standard 11G
It's
database.
not using new object.
Because we have installed so many times and we've seen either you can use Oracle XE or Oracle 11G for scalability. Yes. And once again, this is Endeca install, not Endeca Latitude. You don't have to do all this in Endeca Latitude, because Endeca Latitude is already there as part of R12.2. Okay, that's what Michael mentioned. Okay, so we have similar demos. We did something for DHL Australia. They had something similar. So it's all the same flow that we're discussing here. Right. So all this was Endeca based. You can change the banner, you can change the look and feel and all that very easily with using Endeca Experience Manager. Okay.
So how the customer need to pay for the Endeca part? They need to have a license.
Yeah. Basically, the prices have come down a lot for companies. Small to mid size. The license fee has come down a lot. So it's
Used
not
to be
very
expensive.
difficult to, not very difficult to deploy this. And it takes maybe 1 or 2 days for the installation and bring the server up and running. So typically you might need 3 to 4 servers, because you need one for an index engine, and not high-end servers.
Yeah.
Simple low-end servers are good enough. We have this whole thing running on one machine, so for a demo.
So when you export and import data, exporting and importing data, not the say the people have a data, only 11 or 12 images. So that trigger also come over at the data.
Oh no, just the data. We just want Endeca to show the EBS information. That is price and item ID and availability and all that.
But you did say that you can configure an item to Endeca. So if I have some website, if I have some business logic built on the 11 side, or EBS,
You'll have to work on that on the Endeca side. Yeah, that has to happen. You'll have to do that on your own on the Endeca side. Yeah, those things You can try, but we have not gone into those steps because no one came back to us saying, oh, we want to see the constraints also. Because I hardly have seen many constraints on the item level. Can you give me an example of what you
Yeah,
saw?
not on the item level.
No.
Saying that if it is order management, some other model.
Yeah.
If I have constraints on that, okay, so then how do I bring it?
Yeah, then what happens is at the time of order creation, you can stop them from getting created. You can check for the constraints there. That's not an Endeca piece there. That's an iStore customization. But if you want to stop them from seeing the item on the Endeca landing page, you can put those constraints there. So that's going to be customization.
Do you have to bring the Endeca data back to answer these sales and stuff, or your table, or can you use Endeca?
You can use Endeca by itself.
Yeah.
If you want to do it that way. You don't have to actually integrate that with EBS. The reason why everybody wants to use EBS at the back end is because they have already invested so much. You know, they want to make use of it. How many of you have heard about technology called Right Now?
Yeah.
Oracle Right Now? We are getting at least 1 or 2 calls every week, you know, asking us to integrate Right Now with EBS. But you know, because there are around 1,500 clients in US who have got Oracle service running on Oracle EBS. Now they don't want to lose that investment. So they, at the same time, Right Now has got very good UI, and they want to use Right Now on the cloud with EBS in the backend. So same thing is happening here too. Endeca has got very rich content, it has got very good landing pages, so let's go ahead and use that. But who's going to take the order? This, Endeca might be able to take the orders, but you'll have to start using interface tables and import it back into EBS, right? Instead, we have given a solution which will integrate that immediately. It's in sync. It's real time, right?
What is right now?
Right Now is basically companies like American Express or companies like Starbucks used in the past. Wherever you want to have knowledge content management. Basically, I'm searching for something. Oh, like I'll go to G, for example, and say, my sink has stopped working or something like that. And then it's a knowledge base. And then you can create a service request. You can go ahead and call the CSR from within Right Now. Okay. So basically, the CSR immediately gets a call on his desk with Right Now as a UI, and he will know who the contact is, who's calling. Immediately it starts showing up. So it's a CTI enablement. Basically, it's a telephony integration with Right Now. So that's a different third-party integration you may have to do. So those are some of the good features that Right Now provides. Right Now has become very popular now because of the features, functionalities that it provides. However, customers don't want to let EBS go. They are hanging on to it. They say, oh, we have put in so much money, we want to make use of that. Like scheduling, task management, all those things are not there in Right Now. So if I send some service personnel to fix a refrigerator or to fix a sink, for example, how do I manage the task, or how do I manage the scheduling of this repair person? That's not there in Right Now. That's there in EBS. So data is all over, so we need to make sure that integration works.
So have you done the integration between
Yes.
Right Now and
Yes. Yeah. So we have complete, we spent around 6 months trying to understand how that's going to work, and we actually have developed this whole integration.
Can Endeca work in a Windows platform, using Windows server?
In this case, no, they're all Linux boxes. We can use Windows also. We have at least half a dozen laptops which run Endeca now.
But I mean, as for the Endeca server in
You can
Linux,
use, yeah.
can
On Windows.
use in a
Yes.
Windows server?
Yes. We can download it, and we have done that.
Oh,
Half a dozen laptops, so Windows 7 has Endeca on it.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
We can even have ATG on the laptop.
ATG, yeah.
Yeah.
When you save the data from your application,
Uh-huh.
back to Oracle table or go to the Endeca table?
It goes to Endeca if you are on the Endeca landing page. Because you are not actually hitting the EBS till you reach the cart page. Till you say add to cart, you are not hitting EBS. Till the cart page, you are on the Endeca tables. All
So
the
how you
information.
synchronize with the back to the
So you don't need to synchronize the first few pages into Oracle Database because the synchronization happened from EBS into Endeca. Sits there.
But if this orders.
Orders is going to be all web services. You can have web service code. Yeah.
So it's pulling from, so some program has to run in API to pulling the data from Endeca, insert that.
That's going to be real time, yes.
Real time.
Yeah. Okay. So that way we have a bunch of demos here where we can, keep going. But the gist of this whole presentation was to show how exactly you can use Endeca in front on top of any e-commerce platform, not just iStore, not just EBS. Okay. So we did something similar for Fusion. However, what we noticed was with Fusion, there was a drawback because, I won't call it a drawback because Fusion was meant for something else. It was not meant for order creation and all that. Fusion was meant for multiple discrete items, discrete systems sending information to this box. So the order creation was not like how we could create orders in EBS. There was no way we could call an API and say, go ahead and create an order for me. There was no way to do that. So we had to generate an XML file and then import it into EBS. So whatever orders get created through Endeca will sit on Endeca's server as an XML file. We import it into Fusion and then dump that information into Fusion tables through DO and all that. Distributed order registration.
But in the end, it goes back to Oracle order management.
It does in the end. I don't know if Fusion is integrated with order management. I don't think so. I don't know.
I was just wondering.
Yeah, that is a very good question. I mean, we have not tried. We actually invested a lot of money on this a couple of years back, thinking Fusion is going to be the,
Yeah, they used to be.
The server, that answers all the questions, But what we noticed was it could do only certain things. It was not meant for order management. It can take all the orders, but then do what after that? It has to still use shipping in EBS. There was no shipping module there. So there were some gaps which we realized, and then we said, okay, we want to keep that in the background. Right. Any other questions? Did you find this useful?
Yeah.
Something new?
Mhm.
Something new, yes.
Yes. So whenever you have any kind of questions, you can reach out to me. If you have your cards, you leave it with me, and I can email you my contact details, and I can. Because I'm running out of cards actually. So, and then if you need more information, I can email that to you, including the demo URLs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.